our next poet up is who I call as like my poetry sister. We stay supporting each other. I published a book, and I wouldn't have done it if Kelsey hadn't published hers. And I was like, yo, I want to do that. And she said, let me show you how. And so I would not be where I am without Kelsey, and I just got to give her that shout out. So Kelsey Bigelow is a Midwestern poet who focuses on storytelling with a humanistic approach. She has been a panelist for the 2019 IC Speaks, that's us, hey, Youth Poetry Conference, a judge for the 2020 IC Speaks Page Poem Contest, and a judge for the 2021 I Love Slam Fest. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Y'all right here? Y'all heard that? Oh, shit. Kelsey self-published her debut collection, Sprig of Lilac, and has been published in Back Channels Journal and Z Publishing House. She released a spoken word album, Depression Holders and Secret Keepers, in September 2021. Follow her on her social media, KelKB Poetry. Please welcome up Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I'm 5'3", a mediocre yogi, and have only met one person paler than me. All of that rhymed, and that was only 3/4 intentional. I like driving without a destination and meeting new dogs, though I prefer cats in my home. I think this is because my childhood was nomadic with a bark that wouldn't quit. I will share more on this mic than my family would like, but helping others feel understood is what brought me to the stage. I love a good Greek salad, but I don't do olives. I barely do the feta. I like my coffee black and my bookshelves full. I'm oddly good at eating sloppy joes without being sloppy, probably from training myself to keep my messes hidden. I don't know a lot, but I know every line to Gilmore Girls and that I have survived 100% of my worst days. And I know that poetry is my ultimate metaphor as I choose which lines to break, which rhymes to make while I write my life into its own rhythm. Because I was a young girl fighting sandpaper days and turning scrapes into poetry. And I know that all of this has made me who I am here tonight. A young girl, a young woman, building marble years, a poetry career, and still wearing Chucks, even though I'm not right now. These guys are incredible. How are we doing? Are we ready for the second half? All right. That's just like how I like to say hi. That was my honest poem after Rudy Francisco. I'm sure you picked up on that. Yeah. I like to make sure I give credit because I did not come up with the format. I also want to echo the trigger warning from before. If you need to take care of yourself, please do, because I'm about to go into some heavy shit. And a lot of this deals with, depression, eating disorders, childhood abuse, neglect, the works. So if there's anything that hurts you or triggers anything in you, please take care of yourself. I can barely see your faces, so I won't notice. We love you. I'm not going to introduce these. I'm just going to let them exist. Let's go into some word vomit. Digression. Writing is the last thing I want to do. I don't really know why this is, because writing is the only thing I need to do. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that shedding a layer of my heart and molding it into words on a page for all to read means molding it into words on a page for all to read. Maybe it's because I have been actively shaping my self-esteem into a genuine mirror of a mastered smile, and everyone knows that a happy poem is almost always an oxymoron. Maybe it's because speaking the dissonance of my soul breaks the innocence I've learned to portray and ruins the ignorant ears of those who think they know me, like the ones who ask why a coffee snob like me hasn't had any coffee yet today and it's already 11 a.m. I say nothing and turn to my notebook and explain to the page that I haven't had coffee because I haven't had a full meal in a while because I haven't had enough money for such a luxury. And so I drink water to ignore the rumbles and to say thank you to the years I struggled with anorexia because they taught me how to fake my health. They taught me how to get through a day without fainting in order to get the body I thought I was supposed to want. A body men would want to touch, not take, but they didn't take, they stole. They stole a body I grew to loathe, but then again, I'm told to be grateful for the body that I'm in because the body that I'm in has so much built-in privilege it has become translucent. But the thing about being translucent is that no one sees me, which means loneliness goes to bed with me and shapeshifts into the depression that is my body. I digress. This is why I avoid writing. Because only after reading my own words do I begin to sort trauma from struggle, and only after reading my own words do I realize I've got too much to write about. How are we feeling? I'm just like easing you guys into here's the more specific thing. No, I'm gonna introduce this one. So for me, when I'm writing in my notebook, it often comes out just as word vomit, like that last piece. And sometimes I make it into poem, and sometimes I let it be word vomit. And this next one is from a free write. When childhood traumas like to just pop up out of nowhere and be like, you're gonna unpack this now. And you're like, oh, cool. Happened to anybody else, writers in the room? Yeah, okay. So that's this piece. This is Poetic Trigger Warning. Dear friend, I know there will be a time when my lack of thought will make you rightfully angry with me, but when that happens, I beg of you, please do not come at me yelling. It breaks the white noise I created in my head to drown the screaming I grew up hearing. Like the sound of 13-year-old underfed and overdrunk delinquents and punks who found refuge in my mama's closed-curtain living room, you know the ones, who shield any real emotion by trying to be the one that sounds the angriest and the most street because their mamas couldn't pull through for them and their daddies were either locked up or locked out. My white noise drowns the screaming I grew up hearing. Like the sound of a 55-year-old stepfather kicking his dog across the kitchen as if it was her fault his paycheck stopped growing. You know the one. Whose fuse depends on the football score and which of us kids are around. If we were lucky, the team would win and we'd get a quiet dinner that night. Please do not come yelling at me. It sets off the smoke detector I installed to remind myself to listen to the screams and grunts through the rotting rafters and to tell myself it was just the TV turned up really loud. To tell myself I was safer to lie still on that basement couch and take up negative space, to remind myself it was safer to be mute. To tell myself I was safe, I was safe, I was safe, I was safe, friend. If you forget my poetic trigger warning, it's okay. I just wanted you to know why I might cover my ears. We're gonna shake it out now. Don't you love when stuff like that just pops up at you and you're like, oh, we're dealing with that, okay. And then you have these guys who just make it so much better. Love it. Before I go into my last piece, I gotta do the, shameless plug. We're gonna tell you about me. So yes, I just released my spoken word album, Depression Holders and Secret Keepers, and I am on tour for that right now. I'm almost done, which is insane. I'm stoked to be here, and with my poetry brother, thank you for inviting me, giving me the platform to be able to share this album. I do have it available out there. It's $10, cash card, Venmo. Kills me. Yes, I have cash card and Venmo, so you don't have an excuse to, you can take it all. I have all of it. I also have a QR code if you don't have the means right now. You can stream it literally anywhere for free. And then I do also have Sprig of Lilac with me. It's $10 as well, same spiel, and that book is really dedicated to grief. it's the culmination of after my mom passed away 7 years ago next week. And so that's what that is. So I like to say, if you want to be sad, I can hook you up. So talk to me after. All right, we're going to go into the last little bit here. This is learned instinct. I have contorted myself enough to know how my neck and kneecaps should curl to take up as little space as a disappearing act allows. It's somewhere between question mark and whiskey pour spout. And by space, I mean existence. See, taking up space used to equate with being in the way. I know how to avoid mess and remove attention. And by mess, I mean existence. See, it's no crumbs on plate to hide residue from judging eyes because those eyes only saw a flaw. I have learned to quiet, like mime, with helium in my heels and mute in my voice box to remain unheard because the heard always brought chaos, and by heard, I mean the existing. So I let closed doors and headphones become my bunker from the bellows and drywall holes, and by bellows, I mean their existence. While blankets of unwashed shaking became depression holders and secret keepers that hid my car-keyed forearms and question mark body. And by unwashed shaking, I mean the pitifulness I thought my existence was worth until I almost let it all go. Until I almost let it all go.